Hello friends, good evening, welcome to NEET World. This is Abhilash Sir here, your mathematics faculty for Foundation, EAP set, KSET and also JEE. So, we had continued our discussion on number system in the previous class. So, let us continue from there itself. So, this is for class 9 number system CBSE. Okay, we had done all these things in the previous class. We were doing exercise 1.3. Okay, we were left with some of the questions when it comes to exercise 1.3. We learned what is rational numbers, that is they should be terminating, and also if non-terminating they should be repeating. But what about irrational numbers? I am repeating again and again, so it becomes revision for you. And what about irrational numbers? They should be what? Neither terminating nor repeating, but they should not be a perfect cube also, they should not be a perfect square also, and another number pi is an irrational number. These things we learned, and how to convert the terminating decimal into p by q form, and how to convert non-terminating but repeating decimal into p by q form we learned. And one of the property also we learned, that is what is the property that q must satisfy if it is a terminating decimal, that is q will be in the form of factorization of q will be in the form of 5 into 2, that is in the form of 5 to the power of m into 2 to the power of m. That is also the thing we learnt in the previous class. Okay, now continuing from there, now let us see some other questions when it comes to exercise 1.3 friends. That is what? Exercise 1.3. So, what is this question that is saying? They are asking us to write three rational numbers. Write three numbers whose decimal expansions are not rational numbers, they are non-terminating and also non-recurring. That is the what they are asking. It is non-terminating and non-recurring. If it is non-terminating and recurring means it is rational number. It is non-terminating and non-recurring, it means what? It is irrational numbers. Irrational numbers. Irrational numbers they are asking. Okay, irrational numbers they are asking. Okay, so you can write three numbers. You can write it as root 2 is equal to something, root 3 is equal to something, and root 5 is equal to something. These values, if you know, you can write these values, or if you don't want this, you can write it as just take some number. Okay, I'll take it as 1 point. Okay, three rational numbers or three numbers which are non-terminating and non-recurring are, one is C. First number is what? I'll write it as 1.01001. Okay, 0001, 401s, okay, and 501s, and it is what? It is non-repeating and non-terminating. It is non-repeating. It is non-repeating 01, here 001, here 0001, here 4 zeros 1 and 5 zeros and 1, and it is non-terminating and also non-repeating. So, it is non-terminating and non-recurring. This is one example. Another example you can take 2, 0.2, okay, or 2.02, 002, okay, 00002. So, this is also non-recurring and non-terminating. Excuse me, this is also non-terminating and non-recurring. Okay, this is also non-terminating and non-recurring. Sorry for the pause. Okay, so this is another example. Let us take another example. Let me take some example like 4.14, 114, 1114, 4 times 1 4, 1 4. This is also non-terminating and non-recurring. So, this is the example of what? Non-terminating and non-recurring. There are three numbers. You can write any number of numbers. There was three numbers like this you can write, or you can write root 2 is equal to that value. You can write root 3 is equal to value of root 3, root 5 is equal to that value. You can write. Why? Because root 2, root 3, root 5 are irrational numbers. Irrational numbers means what? It is obviously it is non-terminating and also non-recurring. Clear? Okay. Let us move to the next question, friends. Have a look at this question. They are asking, find three different irrational numbers, not rational numbers. Be careful. This is the key word. That is what? Find three different irrational numbers. What they are asking? Different irrational numbers. Okay. They are asking us to find irrational numbers. Between what? Between rational numbers 5 by 7. What is that? 5 by 7. Just a minute. What is that? 5 by 7 and 9 by 11. 5 by 7 and 9 by 11. They are asking us to find irrational numbers. So, 5 by 7 and 9 by 11 are what? They are rational numbers. So, they were given what? 5 by 7 and 9 by 11. So for this, how to find three different irrational numbers? First, let us use the long division method and find out what is the value of this. Okay, 5 by 7. So let me write down 5 divided by 7. So 5 is less than 7, definitely I have to put point, this will become 0. So this will become what, friends? 7 7s are 49. Okay, then I will have 1. Okay, if I put 0, this will become 7 1s are 7. I will have what? I will have 3. Okay, if I put 0, I will have what, friends? 7 4s are 28. Okay, then I will have 2. I will put 0. Then I will have what? 7 2s are 14. I will have 6. I will end it here. This much is enough for me. This much is enough for me. So what I got? 5 by 7. I got the value as what? I got the value as 5 by 7. I got the value as what? Let me write this later. Okay, 5 by 7. I got the value as what? 5 by 7. The value is 0.7142. Okay, so I will write it as just 0.71, because if it is 5, I can write it as 0.72. Okay, or if it is greater than 5, I have to write it as 0.72. Here it is 4, so just I will write it as 0.71. Okay, 5 by 7 I got the value as what? 0.71. Now what is given? 9 by 11. So okay, 9 by 11 is given. So this also using long division method I will solve it. So long division method, what I should do? 9 I should divide by 11. So 9 is less than 11. So definitely I have to put decimal point. I will get 0 here. 11 8s are 88. I will get 2. Okay, now I put 0. This will be what? 11 1s are 11. Okay, I will have what? I will have 9. Again I will put 0. Again I will have what? 8. Okay, so 11 8s are 88. Okay, then I will have 2 0. Okay, again it continues like this. So I will keep it as it is. Okay, I will keep it here. So 9 by 11, I will write it as what? I will write it as just 0.81. Okay, I will keep it to 2 decimal points. I will keep it as 0.81. Now see friends, actually they are asking us to find what? They are asking us to find three different rational numbers between 5 by 7 and 9 by 11, but not rational numbers, sorry, it is irrational numbers. So those numbers are what? 5 by 7 is nothing but equal to 0.71 and 9 by 11 is nothing but equal to 0.81. Now we have to find what? The three, what is that? Three irrational numbers, between 5 by 7, that is nothing but equal to 0.7, and 9 by 11, that is nothing but equal to what? 0.81, are okay 0.71. After that, what are the numbers that comes? I can write it as first one I will write it as what? 0.71 is there. I will write it as 0.72. I will write it as 002, 0002. Okay, and I will write 4 zeros and then 4 zeros and then 2, and I will put dot. Why I am writing like this? See, first of all, it is non-terminating, and it is it repeating? Here double zeros and 2, here triple zeros and 2, here 4 zeros and 2. If it is 002, 002, you can say that it is repeating. But here it is not repeating. The way I have written, it is not repeating. So it is non-terminating and non-repeating or non-recurring. That means what? It is an irrational number. Like that I can write. Next, another number is. See, this is one number. Another number is what? Let me write it as 0.75, 005, 0005, 0005, dot. Okay, that is why I stress the importance of knowing the concept. Irrational number means what? It is non-terminating, and it is what? Non-repeating or non-recurring. So it is non-terminating and non-repeating. 0.75, 005, again 005 comes, means it is repeating, but here it is not repeating. 005, 0005, and like that it continues. So it is what? Non-terminating and non-repeating. So another example, that is I can take it as 0.77, 007, 0007, 4 zeros and 7, something like this it goes on. So this is the answer to this question. You can take any number. You can take 0.76, 006, 0006, 4 zeros and 6, like that, or 0.80, 100 and 000, like that. Okay, any numbers, any three numbers can be there between 0.71 and 0.81. So 0.71 represents what? 5 by 7. 0.81 represents what? 9 by 11. Between them rational numbers, how you have to write? They should be non-terminating and they should not repeat. Okay, such kind of decimals, if you write it, that's it, that is irrational. Okay, but first of all, to get 0.71 and 0.81, you have to first divide 5 by 7, you have to divide 9 by 11 by normal division method. Okay, restrict it to 2 decimal points, that's enough. Then between them you can find the any three numbers. These are you find irrational numbers between two rational numbers. Okay, let me give example or let me give homework. Find three irrational numbers, okay, between 3 by 4 and 6 by 7. Find three irrational numbers between 3 by 4 and 6 by 7. This is the homework I am giving. Okay, same type you have to find it. Find three irrational numbers between 3 by 4 and 6 by 7. This is the homework that I am giving to you, friends. Okay, let us move to the next question. I hope this question is clear to you. Okay, now they are asking us very simple question based on the concept which we have learned. See here, they are asking us classify the following numbers as rational or irrational. Let me repeat again. Rational numbers are what? They are terminating decimals. Another type of rational numbers are what? If they are non-terminating but repeating. What about irrational numbers? They are neither of these. They are neither terminating, neither non-terminating, or neither repeating. They are neither repeating. Another thing is they are not perfect square. They are not perfect cube, and pi is not an irrational number. Okay, this much we know. So first one is what? Root 23. Root 23 is what? It is not a perfect square. Root 23 is not a perfect square. So hence it is irrational. It is irrational number. It is irrational number. Okay, it is irrational number. What about second one? Root 225. You will think that under square root it is there. That's why you will think that it is irrational number. But one thing you understand, root 225 is nothing but square root of, it is nothing but square of 15. Okay, 15 is what? 15 is rational number. So that's why I am telling you, please learn squares up to 30. So root 225 can be written as what, friends? Root 225 can be written as 15 square. So 15 square, if I remove the square root, it will become just 15. So 15 can be written as what? 15 by 1. That is nothing but p by q form. So therefore this is what? Rational number. This is what, friends? It is rational number. Okay, this is rational number. Okay, again let me repeat, root 225, just because square root is there, it is not irrational. Root 4, is it irrational? No, because root 4 can be written as 2, root 9 can be written as 3, root 16 can be written as 4. Same way root 225 can be written as square root of 15 square, that is nothing but 15, that is 15 by 1, that is p by q form, therefore it is rational number. Is it clear, friends? Let us move to the next question. You can only get the answer. See here what they are telling. Third one is what? Third question is what? What is it? See here, they are telling it is, third one is 0.3796. 0.3796. This is nothing but what, friends? Here it is terminating. Here they have not kept any dot. That means it is terminating and it is not repeating also. It is terminating means what? Definitely it is rational number. It is rational number. Okay, rational number. Fourth one, they have kept dot. That means it is not terminating. Okay, 7.478478. Okay, definitely it is not terminating because they have kept dots. Whether it is repeating, non-terminating but repeating means what? It is rational number. Is it repeating? Yes, it is repeating. 478, again 478 will come. See, 478 is repeating 2 times. That means it will repeat again. Okay, if it is repeating 2 times, it will repeat again. That means what? This can be written as 7.478 bar. If I write bar, that is rational number. Therefore this is what? Rational number. Is what, friends? Rational number. One is what we found? It is terminating decimal. This is non-terminating but repeating, so it is rational number. Okay, why? Because this is terminating. Why? Because this is non-terminating but repeating. See, the class durations are 25 to 30 minutes because you watch the class, then you have to practice more. Okay, if I keep the class length 40-50 minutes, you will get bored or you may get exhausted to absorb the concept. So understand the concept and practice more. Okay, got it, friends? So this is about fourth question. Let us have a look at fifth question. What is the fifth question that is given? Fifth question is, what they have given is, see here. Have a look at the fifth question, that is 1.10, 1001, 0001, 400, 4 zeros and 1 ... So see here, friends, first of all, it is not terminating. Not terminating, is it repeating? Definitely not. If there is 10, 00, 3 zeros, 4 zeros, it is not terminating also. Not terminating also, non-repeating also. It is non-terminating and non-repeating and non-repeating. Just if it is non-terminating, no, it is non-terminating and non-repeating also. Okay, therefore it is irrational number. We are writing the reasons also. Okay, therefore it is irrational number. Got it, friends? Okay, like this you have to solve. Just because classify, don't write classify directly. Write the reason also. Okay, it will take hardly 30 seconds to write the reason. Please write the reason, then you will get full marks. Okay, please write the reason also, even if they have not asked. Okay, all right. Let us move to the next one, friends. This is about exercise 1.5. Okay, this is about exercise 1.5. When it comes to exercise 1.5, I'd like to tell you some concepts. Okay, this is about exercise 1.5. I think some other questions are there. Let me check in 1.3. Okay, these are all exercise 1.5, 1.6. 1.5 is nothing but exercise 1.4 in your textbook, okay, in your NCERT, in your new NCERT. Okay, so exercise 1.5. Now, here you have to understand that when you combine rational and irrational number, how do you combine rational and irrational? That is through arithmetic operation, that you can do addition, subtraction, multiplication and division. Let us see. First, let us look at multiplication. Suppose I write here 2 into 2, what I will get? 4. Okay. Similarly, if I write 5 into 2, I will get 10. Okay, I will get 10. Okay. Similarly, if I write 3 into 3, I will get 9. So, these are all what? 2 and 2 are what? They are all rational numbers. 5 and 2 are what? They are all rational numbers. 3 is what? Rational. 3 is what? Rational. So, I will get rational number into rational number will give me rational number. One thing is understood. Now, if I take something like this, 2 into root 2, if I write it, 2 into root 2. 2 is what? Rational number. Root 2 is what? Irrational number. This you know. 2 into root 2 gives me what? 2 into root 2 gives me 2 root 2. 2 root 2, this itself is also irrational. This itself is also irrational, friends. This itself is also irrational. One more interesting thing is, suppose I write root 5 into root 3. Root 5 into root 3. That means what? In under root, both are root. So, I should write it as what? Under square root 5 into 3. That gives me what? Root 15. Root 15 is what, friends? Root 15 is irrational. Root 15 is irrational. So, irrational into irrational gives me what? Irrational itself. Okay, it gives me irrational itself. Is it the case always? No, I will show you. See here, if I write root 2 into root 2, same number. Okay, that means what? 2 into 2. This becomes under square root of 2 into 2. That will become what? Root 4. Root 4 is nothing but what, friends? Root 4 is nothing but 2. 2 can be written as 2 by 1. So, this is what, friends? This is rational. This is rational. So, irrational into irrational can also be rational when both the irrational numbers are same. When both the irrational numbers are same, it will give us rational. When irrational numbers are different, if you multiply them, it gives us irrational. But irrational numbers, same irrational numbers, if you multiply, it gives us rational. For example, you can take root 3 into root 3. Okay, this gives us what? Under square root 3 into 3, you write it. Okay, root 3 into root 3, put square root, under that you write it as 3 into 3. So, this gives us what? 3 3 is 9. Square root of 9 is what? It gives us what? 3. So, same rational numbers, same irrational numbers. Under square root, if you multiply, it gives us a perfect square. Perfect square, if it comes, it is rational number. Because if it is not a perfect square, then it is irrational. If it is coming as a perfect square, it is rational number. Okay. Suppose I take root 5 into root 5. That gives us what? Under square root, I should write as 5 into 5. So, that can be written as what? That can be written as 5 into 5 is nothing but 25. That can be written as what? I can write it as 5 itself. So, root 3 into root 3 is 3. Root 2 into root 2 is 2. Root 5 into root 5 is 5. So, these are all what? Rational numbers. So, one thing we understood that here irrational into irrational gives us rational. Okay. So, what are the rules we have to understand? Rational into rational is rational. What about rational into irrational? Rational into irrational gives us irrational. That is what we understood there. Okay. I will give you one more example. So, 3 into root 3. Okay, 3 into root 3. Although they are same, this is root 3, this is 3. So, this gives us what? 3 root 3. 3 root 3 is irrational. Okay, 3 root 3 is irrational. So, rational into irrational. Rational into rational, rational. Irrational, rational into irrational, irrational. What about irrational into irrational? Irrational into irrational will give us irrational or rational. Rational when both are same, both are same. That is when both irrational numbers are same. That is here root 2 into root 2 both are irrational but both are same. So that gives us 2, the rational. So understand one thing, rational into rational is rational, rational into irrational is always irrational, but irrational into irrational can be rational also, can be irrational also depending on the numbers. So these are all the rules you have to remember, 1, 2, 3. Okay. So what about division? Division also follows the same thing. Division also follows the same thing. I can write it here. See here, observe here. So if I write 2 by root 2, 2 by root 2 is nothing but what? That can be written as what? 2 can be written as root 2 into root 2. Okay, root 2 cancels, I will get it as root 2. Root 2 is what? Irrational. Okay, root 2 is what? Irrational. So that means what? That means what? I will write here rational by irrational gives us what? Irrational only. Okay, suppose I write 2 by 2. 2 by 2 is nothing but 1. So that is nothing but what? Rational. So what about this one? This is second rule. First rule. So that is first rule, rational by rational gives us rational itself. Now what about by irrational by irrational? Let us see. So if I write root 2 by root 2, if same number is written means we cancel, we will get it as 1, it gives us rational. Okay, but if I take different number, suppose I write 2 root 7 by 2, 2 root 7 by 2, okay, or let me write it as 2 root 7 by root 2, 2 root 7 by root 2. That will give me only what? Root 2 can be written as root 2 into root 2 into root 7 divided by root 2. Root 2 I can cancel, I can write it as 2 root 7 or I can write it as root 14. This is irrational only. So one thing you must understand, same rules it follows here also. So irrational by irrational can be irrational or rational depending on the number. If same number comes, it will be rational. Irrational by irrational, if it is same number, it gives rational. Irrational by irrational, if it is different number, gives us irrational. Understand one thing, and once again, multiplication. Rational into rational is rational. Division, rational by rational is rational. Okay, done. Next, when it comes to rational into irrational is irrational itself. Rational by irrational, that is division, is irrational itself. Now most important thing you have to remember is when both are irrational. When both are irrational, irrational into irrational is irrational when both the numbers are different. But irrational into irrational when both the numbers are same, like root 2 into root 2, root 3 into root 3, it gives us rational number. Same when it comes to division. Irrational by irrational, if different numbers means it gives us irrational as the result. If it is irrational by irrational, both the numbers are same, root 2 by root 2, root 3 by root 3 gives us rational number. Okay, this much clarity you must have, friends. This much clarity you must have. So based on this, let us have a look at this question. But before that, when I talk about multiplication and division, definitely I have to talk about what? I have to talk about addition and subtraction also. When I talk about addition and subtraction, what happens? See here, if I write 2 minus 1, I will get 1. If I write 5 minus 2, I will get it as 3. Okay, if I write 3 minus 4, I will get it as minus 1. These are all what? Rational. Okay, rational minus rational gives us rational itself. If I write 2 minus, let me write here. If I write 2 plus root 2, it is nothing but 2 plus root 2 itself. I cannot add it. 2 plus root 2 is 2 plus root 2 itself. Okay, if I write 2 plus root 6, it is nothing but 2 plus root 6 itself. I cannot add rational and irrational, it will be same. Okay, if I write 2 minus root 6, it is 2 minus root 6 itself. So what happens? If it is irrational, if it is rational plus irrational gives us irrational itself. Okay, whether it is plus or minus, it gives us irrational itself. Let us have a look at, so let me write it here. Rational, this will be plus or minus. Rational plus or minus irrational gives us, rational plus or minus irrational gives us what? Rational plus or minus irrational gives us irrational itself. Okay, rational is rational, rational irrational is irrational itself. Let us have a look at when both are irrational. Let us see root 3 minus root 7. Root 3 minus root 7, what I can write? I can write it as just root 3 minus root 7 itself. I cannot write it as root 4. You cannot do that. Root 3 is different number, root 7 is different number. Root 3 minus root 7 is, we should write it as root 3 minus root 7 only. Clear? If I write it as root 3 minus root 2 is nothing but it's not root 1. Please remember, it is not 3 minus 2, irrational numbers. Root 3 minus root 3 is root 3 minus root 2 itself. So, the answer is what? Irrational minus irrational will give us what? It is nothing but, if I write plus, it will become plus. If I write minus, if I write plus, it will become plus. So, it will become irrational only. So, irrational plus or minus irrational is irrational only. But what happens if I take the same numbers? If I take the same numbers, let me take it. That is root 2 minus root 2 will give me what? Will give me 0. That is what? 0 is nothing but what? 0 can be written as 0 by 1. Or if I write root 2 plus root 2 will give me what? Will give me 2 root 2. Okay, will give me 2 root 2. Or if I write root 3 minus root 3 will give me what? Will give me 0. Okay. If I write root 3 plus root 3 will give me what? Will give me 2 root 3. Okay, 2 root 3 is what? Irrational. So, irrational minus irrational is irrational, or plus irrational is irrational, or it can be rational also, See here, root 3 minus root 3 is 0 is coming. You may think it rational is coming, or if I write it as what? Different numbers. Okay, 2 root 3 minus 2 root 3 gives me what? 0. Or if I write 2 root 3 minus root 3 is gives me what? Root 3 only. So, irrational minus irrational, okay, can be irrational only. Okay. So, irrational plus or minus irrational can be irrational or rational. Same thing. Okay. Rational plus rational is rational. Rational minus rational is rational. Okay. Irrational plus or minus irrational is irrational only. Rational plus or minus irrational is irrational only. But when it comes to irrational plus or minus irrational, it can be irrational or it can be rational. Please keep this in mind. Please revise this. So, based on this, in the next class, we will be solving questions on exercise 1.4 in your textbook. Clear? Okay. Let's wind up now. I hope the concepts are clear. Let's meet in the next session, friends. Take care. Okay. Please keep revising. Good evening again. Take care.